Like most Americans, I have indulged in the excesses of the land flowing with milk and honey, the United States of cornucopia, if you will. It's a never-ending smorgasbord of diverse food and flavor combinations that please the senses and stimulate the brain with euphoria. Wait, isn't that what drugs do? Don't worry about it. One of my favorite places to go on vacation is Flavortown. It's definitely for most the destination of choice 2 to 5 times a day. Now, nothing gives me more of a pleasurable dopamine dump than sugar. I'm not a sugar snob, mind you, but my sugar delivery system of choice is definitely chocolate. But I don't discriminate. I love my fruity candy, soda, baked goods, and nothing satisfies more than a giant blueberry fritter. Deep fried fruit infused bread covered in liquid sugar.
Go nuts.
Now, I don't want to give you the wrong idea here. I'm not just sitting around on the couch all day surrounded by junk food trying to induce a carb coma.
Spare me.
Weight gain is a gradual process, and it took decades of ups and downs to get like this.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
But I digress. Flavortown sounds good in theory, and it's almost as fun as a week on the planet Risa.
You seek tomorrow.
I seek whatever you got.
All that is ours is yours.
Almost. But it turns out the standard American diet and food pyramid was a booby trap from the beginning. You think you're eating real human food, but in the end, your food is eating you. Slow but surely.
As you are slowly digested over 1,000 years.
You're made to think that your body, physical and mental, decays as you get older. Just because you're older. Arthritis?
Tickle, tickle. Beep boop on the nose.
So sorry. Try this nice opioid. Acid reflux? Drink this, buckaroo. You'll feel right as rain. Depression?
That's why I'm lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely.
Hey, this pill is multicolored. That'll cheer you up. Schizophrenia?
If you build it, he will come.
We have a room available. It's padded for your safety. You got cancer, you say? How about a nice hot radiation bath? You're not attached to your hair, are you?
Hey, everybody.
Look, we're all subject to entropy and decay.
It is unavoidable.
Through the passage of time, wear and tear because of your job or just being an idiot. Life can be hard on the body, but so can the things you eat, even more so than the harshness of life. With enough time, a small stream can wear down a mountain. And so it is with us. When you're young, you don't care what you put in your body. Nothing can hurt you.
I need to make a cereal bomb. Get me Cocoa Puffs, Captain Crunch, and a bucket of KFC. Hurry!
You'd drown yourself trying to drink Lake Michigan if it was made out of Coca-Cola.
You can't drown, you fool. You're immortal.
A kid's food pyramid consists of Doritos, chicken nuggets, French fries, and Mountain Dew. Basically anything that's deep fried and or full of sugar.
Oh, fried stuff with cheese.
Yeah, and lots of it.
But let me make this perfectly clear. It will catch up with you, and the check will come due.
It's time to pay the piper.
Seriously, it's time to pay the piper. Now go get my checkbook.
Now, I'm not a young man, and I'm not a small man either. So believe me when I say I've tried every yo-yo diet known to man, and some I think were alien in origin. I even lost 12 pounds once on the stomach flu diet. Don't do that, kids. Some, if not most of you, know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been there, and back again, and again, and again, and, well, you know. Now, I believe at some point, later or even earlier in life, most people just give up and say,
screw it, bring on the yams.
Well, but you've worked so hard.
Yams!
Okay.
It took me 2/3 of my life to call it quits, but I quit nonetheless. I maxed out at a whopping 421.5 pounds. By all rights, I should have moved up another size in clothing, but I hung on to those pants for dear life. I could still button them, but I had extra difficulty getting my arms around my belly to actually button them.
Goonies never say die.
Thank God for stretchy jeans. As bad and aggravating as it was, that was just the tip of the iceberg. I have had a list of chronic ailments longer than my delinquency record in high school.
Bueller.
He's sick.
There was never a day I didn't go without some significant pain in one area or multiple areas of my body. I had a steady supply of opioids, NSAIDs, and herbal supplements to keep the pain to a tolerant level. I ate the NSAIDs like Tic Tacs and saved the good stuff for the really bad days.
Can you, actually kill yourself with laxative pills?
One of the worst things I have is degenerative disc disease. Say that 3 times. The bottom 2 discs in my lower back are deteriorating, and if you aren't aware of what comes with that, let me fill you in. When your vertebrae shrink closer together, the nerve clusters that protrude from that area get pinched. Often. And when that happens, it puts you in bed anywhere from 2 days to a month. I spent more than one Christmas in bed eating turkey and opening presents.
Look at my sexy body.
Also, the lingering back pain from an incident can last another month or so. But that's just one of my many issues. But arguably the worst as far as pain and debilitation goes. I also had other fun and interesting issues such as rosacea, joint, tendon, and muscle pain. Every one of them. Shins and calves are swollen with red discoloration and hard knots all over them. Arthritis in my knees. Bending my right knee for too long resulted in knife-stabbing pain if I didn't straighten it out. High blood pressure. Swelling hands. Swelling feet and ankles. Pre-diabetes. Eyesight was deteriorating. Always bloated. Chronic fatigue. Brain fog. Acid reflux, greasy hair and skin, profuse sweating from my head at the slightest exertion.
Oh man, you just gotta play one game at a time and go out there and give 110%.
And a few that were kind of privates. Private.
No one can resist my sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls. Nothing like a sweaty ball.
I'll just keep those to myself. I'm saying all this to give you an idea of how far down the road to terminus I am or was. Time will tell. But like I said, I had given up.
That's it? You're just gonna give up? I don't want to hope anymore.
I had no motivation to start counting calories again. Calories in, calories out works for the short term, but it just isn't sustainable. Not when you're still eating a standard American cuisine. Not only are you keeping yourself addicted, but you're not eating enough to keep yourself satiated. You're constantly dwelling on the foods you're addicted to, slowly cracking your will and self-control until it finally breaks. But one day at lunch, my buddy and I sat down with a coworker. I noticed he was eating just 3 hamburger patties with cheese. And being the good guy I am, I proceeded to make fun of him.
You're a monster.
It was a joke.
And when I was finished, he told me he's doing something called the Carnivore diet. Now, using my finely honed detective skills, I instantly concluded that it's a meat-only diet.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
He continued to explain the concept and cite multiple examples of people losing a significant amount of weight in the first month.
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.
He also pointed out a well-known psychologist and his family as examples of what the carnivore diet can do for your health issues.
It's like, oh, well, I had 50 health problems and I stopped eating everything but meat and they went away. It's like, oh, sure. It's like, yeah, well, it wasn't you dying.
There are only a few times in my life when God has spoken to me so plainly and clear that the revelation, if you want to call it that, was so strong that I knew what was about to happen or what I was supposed to do.
Stop playing with yourself.
I immediately hit my fist against the table and declared, I'm gonna do this. Of course, I didn't do it real loud though. I mean, I didn't really want to make a scene. I spent the next week in research mode. I watched every Jordan Peterson video.
Well, I have a dream too. It's like I have a dream white people will just sit down and shut up.
Found a Dr. Ken Berry and a metric crap ton of clickbaity influencers. I don't enjoy that sort of thing and don't watch very many, but you can extract some decent info nuggets from time to time. I generally stick to testimonials from people who look like this.
My mother twitted my tipples.
That is not me. After a couple weeks of emptying out my pantry and fridge of stuff that I wouldn't be able to eat.
Middle shelf, fruits and vegetables. And top shelf, expired products.
I dove headfirst into this thing called the carnivore diet.
Give it to us raw and wriggling.
After a couple months of watching carnivore videos, I started hearing mention of you might want to ease into this thing or wean yourself off of your previous diet. Yeah, I didn't do that. I'm an all or nothing, rip the band-aid off.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
Just get on with it kind of guy. I might have avoided this thing they like to call the keto flu. But hey, what's life without a little constant threat of a fart turning into something you didn't bargain for? After a couple near misses, you find that the wait and see method doesn't really apply. Food for thought. In my first week, I lost 14 pounds and was super excited.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
I thought I was going to be one of those anecdotal people that lost 45 pounds in a month.
Wrong.
Much to my chagrin, I learned that about 10 to 12 pounds of that was water. So when I weighed the next week, I only lost 1 pound. A little disappointed, gotta say. But I would not be deterred. I came back like Rocky Balboa the next week and lost 5 pounds. Okay, it wasn't 14, but it wasn't 1 either, so I figured I could live with that. That's not too shabby for a week. Until next week, where I plateaued and didn't lose anything. I didn't gain anything, but I still didn't lose. You know, you can watch 100 hours worth of carnivore videos and still manage to miss the part where they say, temper your expectations. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You'll lose the weight slowly over time like any other diet, but it's not gonna just melt off you like a Nazi opening the Ark of the Covenant. But to be honest, after about a month of doing this and losing about 25 pounds, the weight loss became a secondary goal. It wasn't the driving force behind why I would keep doing it. You see, about 3 weeks before I started this diet, I had pinched my back. I was in bed for a whole week, and when I was good enough to get back to work, dang, I use a lot of air quotes, my lower left side of my back was in constant nagging pain. So much so I had to use the good stuff to dull it enough to function. That pain lasted the 2 weeks after I was back at work and another week and a half into the diet. At that point, I woke up one morning and it was gone. Not even a dull ache. I didn't take any meds. I didn't have to sit on the couch and do some stretches to loosen up. I just didn't hurt. I went about my days fully expecting the chronic pain to come roaring back like a case of VD.
I don't think I have it anymore, Leo.
Oh, don't be fooled, man. VD comes back.
No, not... Okay, yeah, I'll watch for that.
But it didn't. About 2 months into this thing, me and the old lady, the warden, the old ball and chain, if you will.
Ever thought your spouse was getting away with murder? Well, one Michigan woman actually tried to do so by hiring a hitman to get rid of her husband.
Went to the big city to watch what historians would refer to as a good movie.
I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve.
Before we were about to head off, I pinched my back again. But this time, I didn't have to go lay down. This time, I stood up and kind of walked it off. Now, normally, with that bad of a pinch, I'd be in bed for at least a couple days. But we got in the car and drove off to Movie Land. I sat for over 3 hours in the movie recliner, left and got dinner.
Bon appetit.
And drove home. And that's when it started to hurt, but not like it normally does. I took some meds and went to bed. Hey, that rhymed. Next day, I had pain, but it wasn't debilitating. I could freely get up and walk around without a walker. Didn't I mention I bought a walker? It's got tennis balls and everything.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.
Yeah, it was that bad. So, it was an aggravating pain for the whole day. Couldn't sit for a long time on the couch, but if I got up and walked around, it made it better. And by the next day, it was almost gone. Until I pinched it again. I was pistol whipped.
Pistol whip?
So I decided to try the same thing I did the day before and just walked it out for a bit and then took a hot shower. Lo and behold, I was back to where I started from after the movies. I was able to go to work the next day and only had to take one goofy pill. Then the day after that, the pain was gone, and it hasn't been back since.
Gone! Smeagol's free!
Well, I'm not counting my chickens quite yet. No. I look at this as a neat little science experiment. When will I pinch my back next, and how will it play out? I'm scared and excited all at the same time. You remember all the various medical problems I mentioned earlier in this video? I can gladly report that the majority of those are gone. And the ones that are still here, say one, rosacea, are noticeably reversing and healing. Now, the one that's being persistent, rosacea, may be triggered by my consumption of dairy. I'm going to have to break down and swear off my creamy coffee and cheese for a few weeks, and maybe I'll stop looking like Pizza the Hut.
You're delicious, bro.
Now, I don't pretend to know all the science behind why I can eat only fatty meat and be healthy. I understand what I've been told by the doctors I've listened to, and the results have aligned with what they've said. I wish I knew I could eat this way 10 or 15 years ago, but I was always told I would get scurvy and clog my arteries and die.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yes, we've been lied to for decades. Eat the rainbow, they said. You need a balanced diet, they said. Eat more whole grains and less fat, they said.
Wheat thins, wheat thins, wheat thins, wheat thins, wheat thins. No, you can't have any. Have any what? Have any wheat thins?
The food pyramid is your friend, they said. Just eat in moderation, they said. Have you looked around you lately? Have you walked inside a mall or a grocery store in the past month or so? Have you watched any amount of TV or TikTok videos in the past year?
I'm a big, bad, big butt, big dreams baddie. 2 minutes with me and you'll be calling me daddy. Might not pass the presidential fitness test, but notify your next of kin, I'll put you to rest.
Have you been to a restaurant any time within a 6-month period? Have you been to Walmart in your life? The whole of America is incapable of moderation. There are more fat people than there are fish in the sea. I literally can't throw a shoe blindfolded in a Walmart and not hit a fat person.
Nice shot, you hit him. Try throwing a shoe at Roy and not hitting him.
And if somebody else was throwing the shoe, I'm positive I'd get hit. It's okay. Being a fat guy, I can call people fat. And being born in the 70s means I don't care about your feelings. Moderation is an impossible concept overall because everything is designed to keep you from moderating. I don't care what you think you know, but sugar is a drug and it is addictive.
For her birthday party. Legally, let go. Let go. Let go.
And they put it in everything in one form or another. And they design their packaging and advertising and store location to manipulate you into consuming the drugs. So how can you moderate your addiction? Do you see crack addicts moderating?
Do you know why you're here?
I'm here for the same reason you is, man. I want some crack.
Do you see pathological liars moderating?
You know, you talk about cancel culture and who to shame. Ivermectin, a dewormer, really?
They are shaming themselves.
Can you see a nymphomaniac? You know what? Never mind. The point is they, as in the food companies, the medical industry, the insurance agencies, and the government absolutely do not want you to moderate. We are nothing but Sugarfoot having dollar signs riding a hover around to them. They don't care whether we live or die. They're just trying to keep us alive long enough to extract the most amount of money.
Cha-ching.
And even after you die, they swoop in like a bunch of vultures to pick the bones clean. It is absolutely up to us to break the addiction and free ourselves from the matrix of bullcrap. You have a choice. Keep being the cattle that's in a never-ending cycle of medication and doctor's visits with the diet they told you should eat, or live a better quality life with the carnivore diet. Visiting the doctor's office should be like visiting your mother-in-law. You rarely go and you only do it because your wife forces you. In short,
Too late.
15 years too late.
The carnivore diet is the most anti-inflammatory way of eating there has ever been. Yes, inflammation is the root cause of a lot of your physical and mental conditions. Your digestive system is inflamed. Your respiratory system is inflamed. Your joints and muscles are inflamed. Your brain is inflamed. My body was so inflamed a dump truck full of Relief Factor couldn't help me.
Try it for 3 weeks. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, stop taking it. It probably won't work for you.
I'm surprised I hadn't spontaneously combusted. Now the inflammation is gone, and with carbs and sugars stripped away, the cravings and addiction were too, over time. I still have them from time to time, but overall the strength of those cravings went from this to this.
I'm sorry. I used to be much stronger.
Look, the carnivore diet saved my life. No hyperbole. Instead of sitting at my desk every day worried I'm gonna run out of sick days and I get fired for spending more time laid up in bed than I do at work, or trying to guesstimate how long I can physically do my job before I have to apply for disability. I get to be active again. I complete my workload in a timely manner instead of putting jobs off for days because I don't have the energy or the will to do them. I get to work out and take walks instead of being trapped on the couch or computer chair, hopped up on dope, too tired and broken to move. I guess it's like the frog in the pot of water. Keep turning the heat up slowly and he doesn't realize he's being cooked. It may take years or decades to get to the point where you recognize you're being boiled alive by your own food. But when you do, and you truly want to do something about it, and you want that better quality of life, this is the answer. I went from a miserable, pain-ridden lump of crap to a happy, pain-free lump of crap.
Don't you call me podgy, portly, or stout, just to tell me once again who's fat. Oh!
In just 4 months. And I keep getting better every day. And smaller. Now, I'm at the end of recording this video, and I've managed to lose 70 pounds in 5 months. And this is the 4th time I've updated it. Yeah, I'm slow.
So sue me. No, don't sue me. That's the opposite of the point that I'm trying to make.
Let me know what you think in the comments. You're on it. You've tried it. You want to try it. Hate it, love it, whatever. And remember, only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can decide to leave the Matrix.
Welcome to the real world.
Oh, P.S. My wife did this with me. She was nowhere near as bad and overweight as me, but she's reversed a couple chronic issues she had, and at the time of this video has lost 23 pounds. She's going to be a hot tamale before the year's up, and I'm still going to look like Chet from Weird Science.
Quit screwing around! This isn't funny, you stupid bitch!